Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 9 of the David Plosky Power Index. I'm joined today by Mr. Christopher Phillips, the AD himself, our executive producer. And if you can see him in the shadows there, looking like Malachi Black, we have the Banana Man, Honor. How you boys doing tonight?
Doing good tonight. I mean, Gimmick's dead, though. No banana no more. Gimmick's
There's not a man in any fantasy sport I've ever seen that is so down and negative about his team. Chris says he's negative in life, Honor. You might take the cake. Which good one, huh? All right, we're gonna hop into the rankings here, boys. We're gonna start at the 12 spot, the leader of the shitter section. No surprise here. We have Mr. Truedat, Alex Truesdale, and I mean Derrick Henry died and his season died. His team had no depth as is, and now he's down. Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams is at the mercy of Jordan Love. His team's ass. I feel like he's pretty much the consensus 12 spot. We in agreement there, boys?
Don't need to say another thing. No playoffs. He's a shitter.
Put him in the 12.
Terrible. Maybe trade Devontae Adams, your best shot. And also give me Dearness Johnson. That's all I got to say.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully Chubb plays this week because in a loser leaves town match, even though I would say it's Alex's absolute last chance sitting at 3-6, a must win situation. He does get to Ernest Johnson this week, who has put up running back one number.
Who's he playing?
He's playing me.
That's not a loser leaves town match. Loser leaves town has to be 2 losers. You're a safe playoff team.
Yeah, what?
No, I corrected myself a little bit. Not quite a loser lead. It's a must-win situation.
The must-win for Alex. Yeah.
Must-win, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to the 11th spot here, boys. And we have Brian, who I don't even know what his stupid gimmick is this week. He changed his team like twice in the middle of the night.
He's living on a prayer.
Living on a prayer. We got Mr. Brian Gold, who, again, was supposed to be on this tonight, but he wanted to watch Pistons basketball and Cade Cunningham get his head caved in by 20.
You're 1-8. What?
that was the explanation. He needed to watch Pistons on ESPN.
I mean, I don't know what to say anymore about his team. I mean, DJ Moore is gonna be busted, and not busted, but he's not gonna be as good. Sam Darnold's gone
on the IR.
Whoever their backup is whatever. He traded off David Montgomery, which I mean, I don't know if he should have for Josh Jacobs. I mean, Josh Jacobs isn't bad. I just don't understand why he needed to do that trade at all. I mean, he already has a tight end. I really don't understand why it's pretty much Josh Jacobs for Dave Montgomery straight up, which I honestly don't think he needed to do. But this team isn't bad still, but I don't think he won't make the playoffs.
And again, we'll get into the trades further, but yeah, Brian Gold, who builds himself up as this fantasy savant, has made some of the worst transactions and worst trades this year. I don't get it. Brian, another gimmick. I don't know. You're sitting in the shitter section. You're not making the playoffs. You're 3-6. Your season's cooked. Thank you again for a legit running back one, David Montgomery.
Whoa.
Let
me start by saying right here, right now, the looks of his lineup, I don't mind it this week. I actually don't mind the team itself. The trading for the injured players, it came back to bite him in the ass. Clearly, he's 3 games below 500. He was not in a position to do it at the time. Those guys aren't even back yet. It just doesn't make any sense. But he's playing CUNY, who, we know CUNY's team is pretty solid. And he's going to pop in a couple of the guys I traded, I'm sure. But if Brian can win, and I don't think it's impossible because I think his roster looks decent this week, just the matchup itself, he'd be 4-6. He'd have a shot. But it's now looking very good.
But do we agree with Brian at the 11th spot, or do you feel like he's underrated?
I mean, he's 3-6. It's not like he's terribly far. I mean, I don't know who else's team. I haven't looked at everyone else's team, but I mean, I wouldn't say too far.
I'm cool with him being on 11. I just think Truedat literally has 0% playoff chances. I would say Brian has at least some, like a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, Brian's gonna love to hear that. Shout out to Mr. B Gobbles. Gentlemen, moving into the 10th spot. I know you guys last week. I know CUNY was high on him. Chris, you were high on him. I have the Woats in at the 10th spot. I really do.
Ooh.
Honor, what are your thoughts about Nick B coming at the 10th spot?
I don't mind his team at all still. I mean, Jalen Hurts is not bad. Zeke Elliott, I mean, he's been solid. I mean, he has a couple down games, but I mean, he's been solid throughout the year. Cordell Patterson I don't get him. I actually don't get why he's been great for the Falcons. I mean, they don't have much regardless. Thielen, a little bit down. Him starting Van Jefferson is a bit tough. Mike Evans, I mean, he's always great. He just honestly needs Saquon come back, and then he needs Odell to get signed by one of those top surefire QB teams.
Odell's ass, but Chris, what are your thoughts about it? I know, were you high on Nick's team, or you still think this guy has a shot to make the playoffs? I know he's sitting at, I believe, 4-5, right?
Yeah,
He's
he's not
Pack, he's
terrible.
4-5, and he's playing Drew, who's also 4-5. So this is a massive week for some teams. I'm not going to declare a loser leaves town, but it is a big time matchup. It's just like I feel like we say the same things. We like how it looks, but has yet to ever come together. So I can't even defend it anymore. So would I put it higher than 10? Maybe a little bit, but I'm not going to sit here and say it.
We'll move on to the 9th spot, boys, and a team. Someone who was booked to be on the show tonight, but unfortunately had a small case of the sniffles. Miss Allie Johnson. At least I beat Drew. What a resurgence out of Allie this week.
Is this her highest ranking yet? Not even kidding.
This may
Has
be
to
her
be.
highest ranking of all time. I'll be honest.
She's on a 3-game. She's on a 3-game win streak. She's the freaking just bulldozing through teams right now. The team's healthy. She got a true elite running back. AJ Brown coming around. Hollywood Brown. She's got a little bit of quiet depth on the bench. Maybe who's she playing this week? Do we know? Does anyone know?
Your
She's
boy,
playing the
that's
man below
cool.
me. We're just playing the banana.
Oh man, now this is a tasty matchup right here. Potentially, I might be declaring this the loser leaves town match.
The heavyweight
If
match.
Allie
Okay,
loses,
come on.
she's out. If Honor loses, he's in big trouble. I don't hate Allie's team, but for the 9th spot, congrats, Allie, working your way up.
I would like to
I don't
mention
mind her spot here. I mean, to say loser leaves town is a bit tough. I mean, compared with my lineup and everything and how tough it is. I mean, she looks like she should. I'll say this right now, Allie. If you're listening to this, you should win this week. And if you don't, then that shows that you're a loser in this league.
Hell of a promo there. I'd like to mention too, Dalvin Cook could potentially be in trouble with domestic violence. There's text messages that were just released and whatnot. We have to
I
let the
thought he
legal
got
process
his ass
play out.
kicked.
Dude, it's both ways. I
It's,
don't know
there's
either.
text message, like you said, you got to let the legal process play out. But even if Dalvin is out, say Madison has come in and put up elite running back 1 numbers every single time he's been in. So
Yeah.
it's like a plug and play running back 1 for anyways. But yeah, Allie, who was supposed to be booked for the show or on our show tonight, unfortunately, like I said, small case of the sniffles. I don't know how legitimate that was. She did sound a little sick on the phone.
She's
We'll get her at the 9th
she's
spot.
probably climbing up one of those Colorado mountains right now.
We'll move into the last member of the shitter section. And it's someone who's probably close to her right now. That we got the Suge Knights. We got Drew coming in at the 8th spot.
Honor?
I mean, I don't mind his team still at the end of that. I mean, he's still 4-5. He has a big matchup against, who was it? Nick, you said?
Nick
Yeah.
B. Yep, the Woke.
I mean, it's still a big matchup. I mean, his team, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, he has a good shot. I traded him marking room because he really wanted him, and I got AP out of it. So it's looking good. I mean, it's not looking. I kind of scummed him, I feel like, but his team's still not bad. George Kittle came back. He played pretty well. Tyler Lockett. I mean, Russ Wilson's back now, so he's going to be good again. He still has Kamara, Devontae Freeman. I mean, he's honestly not putting up bad numbers by any means.
But yeah, you look at Drew's team again. I think his wide receivers are absolutely nasty. Cooper, Lockett, and even Cooks. They're all 3 of those guys are boom and bust. You can't have 3 of those type of players on a fantasy team as your top 3 wide receivers, in my opinion. And Drew's absolutely got burned in the past with Lockett, who I know you guys said this guy was going to be a top 5 wide receiver. The absolute poster boy for boomer bust. You've gone over the numbers before. He finally bounced back 2 weeks ago against Jacksonville. He had 12 targets for 142 yards, and that was with Geno Smith. Russ is coming back, so maybe he gets a little bit of an uptick, but I look at Drew's team.
A little bit. He's going to get a big uptick.
Dude, Lockett was pretty ass even when Russ was out or Russ was healthy a little bit. He still busts a lot.
Ass.
He's boomer bust. He was never ass.
Honor, would you like to hear the numbers? We've gone over the numbers multiple times.
Let's hear it.
All right. First 2 weeks, he had 26 points, 29.8. Weeks 3 through 7, the following: 5.1, 4.4, 8.2, 4.5, and 2.2. Those are some wide receiver 1 type numbers, huh?
Okay, did Russ even? How many weeks did Russ miss? At least 3.
I think it's 3 weeks in there.
Yeah, Russ was hurt, I believe, on the Thursday night game against the Rams.
So he didn't play in that. He didn't play in the whatever. He's had 2 really good games, 1 mediocre game, 3 bad games.
All
He
right,
actually had a
I'm saying
damn
he's
good game
star.
with
I'm
Geno
saying
Smith.
he's a guy you're going to throw in your lineup, but what are you going to do? Bench him? He could drop you 30 points a week.
here, a 5-minute segment for Tyler Lockett. I hope Drew appreciates this. We're moving on to the 7-spot, boys. Another team who's on quite the resurgence himself. I remember before, and Nick was on, what was that, 3 episodes ago, and he was at the 12 spot.
2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I believe 2-3 weeks ago, and we got the Danksters coming at the 7th spot. Honor
My prediction. He's
There it
looking good.
is,
My
yeah.
prediction. I like his team a lot. James Conner, I cannot believe what a touchdown machine he is now. And now Edmonds is out. It's only just gonna get better. Zach Moss, I don't know. Who's his other running back? Oh, geez. Okay, his running backs
Booby
are
Gibson.
bad.
Antonio Gibson for the Redskins. Or sorry, Washington football team.
I really don't like Gibson. I'm sorry. I just don't like him. He's not that well. I don't get why. I don't know. He still has a lot of good wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb's good. Hill's really good, and then Robert Woods is actually picking it up now finally. So his team is not bad by any means, and now Russ Wilson's coming back, so he can bench. Derek Carr's still good at QB too.
And to your point, James Conner currently leads the NFL in touchdowns, and even without Kyler Murray and Edmonds, they leaned on him, and he put up 37 points last week, and he pretty much carried the entire offense. So yeah, Danksters.
His team's looking like it honestly looked like it was dead in the water a couple weeks ago.
He was at the 12 spot. He was.
I play him this week, so I honestly am a little nervous because his guys actually have been putting up numbers. They might not be sexy like Woods and Connor and Ertz and whoever it is, but it actually looks pretty good. But unfortunately, he's running to the buzzsaw this week. So
yeah, the AG projected to put up 131. My God.
Actually,
all right, we'll move in. Were you gonna say, Honor?
No, nothing. I just didn't know he was supposed to project that much points.
Yep, the rich get richer, well, as we'll address later. But we move into the not quite the elite, but the playoff teams. Coming in at the 6th spot is the man below me. Before this, he said if I'm ranked, would you say in the top 7, you'd be very upset?
Yeah, I don't think so. I just don't think
this is 100%. This is one of the better rosters in the league, and it's a definite playoff roster.
That's iffy to say definite.
All right, Chubb got popped by COVID. That could hurt you.
And he has Mixon on a bye. That hurts too, though.
In a must-win week, essentially, it does kind of hurt. But moving forward, you have Herbert, who's like a top 5 QB. Cooper Kupp, who is the number 1 ranked wide receiver currently in fantasy football. Devontae Smith even looked better last week. He put up 17. Rashad Bateman is a high upside guy. And again, Mixon and Chubb, that's the best 1-2 punch in the league by far, maybe outside of Brandon's with McCaffrey and Aaron Jones. But I think I would favor you having Mixon and Chubb, even though granted Chubb could get hurt, but injuries or whatever. But with that 1-2 punch, and then even Ayuk was a nice little pickup. He looks like he was a $12 purchase. Yeah, he looks like he's getting more involved. Shanahan's getting involved in the 49er offense. He could be like a potential.
I also got AP now, so don't forget that.
Oh, we'll address the trades later. But yeah, the roster looks good. This is definitely a playoff roster. I don't know. What is the gimmick? You just want to be down on yourself, and then hopefully it's just weird reverse psychology that I'm not aware of.
I just don't want the banana gimmick to be a thing anymore. I think I just got to find a new gimmick. I don't know when, but it'll be happening soon. I don't know. I like my team, but at the end of the day, just so many things keep on happening left and right. I just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I would say you gotta make it through. You got to get through this week.
Yeah.
4-6 isn't a death sentence in this league, given everyone's record, but 5-5 would put you in a nice spot. Not to mention after that, you're playing Allie this week, right? So you would play Drew, the Danksters, David, and Brandon down the stretch. It's not terrible.
That's a winnable schedule for sure.
Yeah. So this would be a big win for you for sure.
Yeah, I need to win this week, no doubt.
But yeah, again, even I remember too, Honor has this gimmick too. It's like the game's the initial kickoffs at like 1:00. Honor will text you at 1:30. Oh, good week, my good man.
It's over.
It's over. It was a hell of a week.
When the hell have I done? When was the last couple weeks I've done that? I've literally not said a word.
Multiple times.
Tell me what I did. Did I do that all last week?
Hell of a battle, my good
man.
No,
I was with you in the basement the whole time. It's over. It's over.
Never said that. That was you always clapping your hands out about fucking Josh Allen.
You'll get the Honor could see the text by 4:00 before the afternoon game set, but
whatever. I'm 4-5. I'm stepping right back in there. I'm creeping in.
Smile a little bit. You're in the playoffs. Well, we're moving into the top 5. Coming at the 5th spot is we got Death to Democracy. We got me coming in the top 5. I believe I'm down a spot from last week. But I'll give the floor to you two. Little valuation, open promo on my team.
Chris, you want to go first?
Yeah. So 5 and 4, we got Jordan Howard in the lineup, Michael Jordan Carter, Vince Carter at the RB1. McLaurin, Kraut. Oh man, this lineup's looking a little. Woo, baby, this one's stinky this week. Oh man, I wasn't expecting to see this. Who do you play this week?
I got essentially a bye week, so I played True.
Oh, you got True Dat. Yeah, you hit him at the perfect time. When the roster is fully playing and you get your trades to go through and your guys are off a bye. I like the team. I think 5 is fair. I would even say probably 4 when your team's fully together. So I think 5 is fair, and I think you're a definite playoff team and maybe a second round team.
Maybe we're dancing. We're going to the Sweet 16 potentially. Huh?
Yeah, I like your team a lot, honestly. I mean, you got great wide receivers. I mean, once they're all fully back, great wide receivers. You made a great trade for a running back. Michael Carter is not looking that bad as of late. And then Jordan Howard had absurd amount of touches compared to Miles Sanders. I don't know why, but Jordan Howard didn't look bad either. So
I don't get it either. It's like I don't get it either. With Sanders, they didn't run him, and now Jordan Howard, literally off a practice squad, gets all these touches.
Yeah, I'd like to go on my thought process a little bit with that. Is I feel like they're going to emphasize the running game more because they figured out how bad Jalen Hurts is, and their offensive line just gotten better in general. So I feel like the touches that Jordan Howard and Boston Scott have accumulated this past few weeks are going to just revert to Sanders, who's substantially more talented than both of them, which is fair. And that's why I have Jordan Howard just as a complete.
For now.
He's just a plug-in guy this week for running back 1. And I did make a trade with Brian, and I did trade for a guy in his buy. We'll get into that later. But yeah, that was the thought process behind that. I did pay up a little bit. I did pay $27 for Howard to make sure I got him.
I put in $4, thought I was going to get him.
4? No way.
But that was pretty light. I thought I was honored. Continue.
I did hear this though, David, that Jordan Howard was going to be included more in the squad, even when Miles Sanders comes back. So that's what I read.
Philadelphia Inquirer. Where were we hearing this?
No, it was like the head coach said or something, like an interview. I forgot what.
But yeah, pretty light. I mean, Keeney cut a nice promo on me. Shit on Josh Jacobs last week, but I'll take the praise here, gentlemen. Move on to the top 4, and I have Dr. Locks Jacob, who was on last week, coming in at the 4 spot. I look at this roster, and this is why I have him above me. I feel like he has a little more roster flexibility than I do, and he has Najee Harris, which Najee's an elite running back 1. And also, even Jerry Jeudy looked pretty good. He had 9 targets, and he had like 80 yards. First came back in almost like a month and a half. So, and then he still has Kelsey Mahomes, who could potentially turn around. If they turn it around and they play like how Kelsey Mahomes can, he could easily ascend to the top of this league, and he could potentially win it. But yeah, I think CUNY at the 4 spot is fair. But what are your guys' thoughts, Chris?
I like it. I mean, you made a good point. Kelsey Mahomes has been playing bad, and he's still 5 and 4, and his roster still looks good. So even if they got back to like 90% of their connection, that would be huge for him. He made the trade. We don't have to get into it yet, but they're still obviously pretty solid, startable guys. He has Edmonds, who's hurt, but by the time playoffs comes, when CUNY will be in the playoffs, he'll be back. Harrison Fournette is actually a pretty good 1-2 punch at running backs. I like his team. I think it's a top 5 team every single week, and it's definitely not a team you really want to play. So I'm cool with it.
Honor, I see some. What's the evaluation of Mr. Doctor?
No, there's nothing. I mean, there's honestly nothing. I agree with you guys. I mean, you would hope Mahomes and Kelsey get it together within these next couple of weeks. If they don't, that would just be beyond shocking. They will eventually get it. I mean, top 4 is very, very fair for him. I mean, he's going to make the playoffs. And honestly, by the time playoffs come, like Chris said, I think his team will be a lot more dangerous by then.
Yeah, and put a little context here. Mahomes, the past 3 weeks at Tennessee, 10.8, Giants, 17, and then last week, Green Bay, 12.4. Fucking brutal. Again, if Mahomes continues to put up like 10-point performances and under 50 points, he's cooked. He probably won't win a playoff game, but with his record right now, he's 5 and 4 like I am. Again, with the roster flexibility, I'm comfortable putting him at the 4 spot though. Now we get into the elite of the elite, the top 3. We know who the top 2 are, but I mean, then obviously we know who the third guy is. We got #relentless, Mr. Brandon McKinney. Honor, your thoughts.
He has a damn good 2 running backs. Aaron Jones and Christian McCaffrey are just amazing. And then now Chris Carson's coming back. I mean, he's gonna get all the touches again. That's great for him. He still has DK Metcalf with Russ Wilson back, so that's amazing. And now he just needs another. I mean, he just needs one of his wide receivers to step it up. I believe T. Higgins will do it. I don't know if Emmanuel Sanders would be that guy for him, but T. Higgins will do it. And then he has just another rant like Tyler Higbee. He's not terrible of a tight end to keep in, but his team's not bad with Lamar too. I mean, it's scary. No doubt scary of a team.
And I'd like to just briefly here, McCaffrey say his first game in well over a month. He got 14 carries and 4 receptions. So 18 total touches. And first week back within over a month and a half. I think Drew thought he would have been way lower and they would have just used Chuba Hubbard more. It would have been a process, but I think McCaffrey's ready to go. And obviously Drew lost that trade. We shit on it last week, but yeah, you look at Brandon's team, he's a wide receiver away, but the guy literally acts like Chris Carson's Marshawn Lynch for 2015. He is one of the most brutal and tough negotiators I've ever seen in any fantasy sport. I don't know how Chris managed to trade with him twice.
Yeah, it's not easy. I'd like his team. I don't love it though. He's too thin at wide receiver. Like, I just don't think you can win the league starting Emmanuel Sanders. And Higbee too is an issue because he's like he's barely even startable if we're being honest. Like, he is in that offense, but he's really not a guy you should be starting with championship hopes. Chris Carson back from injury will obviously help him. I don't know how ready to go he will be off the bat. But he obviously in his flex, that's really nice. Julio Jones is a complete boss.
Shitter.
Higgins could be a solid flex for him, even at wide receiver 2, maybe. But it seems like he's a trade away. Like, he needs to trade Carson and someone else to get a receiver, something like that, like a receiver, a lot better than Emmanuel Sanders. So I like it, but I don't love it as much as, well, the top.
Again, too, I think it was up to Brandon, like you said. He does seem like he's a trade away. He needs a little bit of wide receiver depth. He could move Carson for literally a bona fide wide receiver too. But again, when he acts like he's literally Marshawn Lynch in 2015. Brandon's a tough negotiator, but maybe he can get a deal done and potentially win this league. But we get to the top 2, and the question for the 3rd consecutive week is the AD or is David Escom number 1? The AD comes in at number 2. David Escom will keep the first spot. Honor, what are your thoughts about Chris's team?
It's just ridiculous of a team. I mean, I'm just mad that he has just overall like his starting lineup's amazing. He has great depth as well with Earl the Pearl on his bench. It's just ridiculous. Josh Allen, he's amazing. Austin Eckler, James Robinson, 2 great running backs to have. Keenan Allen, and now Stephon Diggs. That's just great. Mark Andrews, he's their top weapon on that team besides, of course, Lamar, and then Deebo Samuel, who gets absurd amount of touches. Look at that cheeky smile out of him.
Every time I look at this, it just absolutely pisses me off.
I laugh every time. I think it's so good.
One of the better gimmicks in the league by far.
Yeah.
You sold in the basement when I first put it together.
Oh yeah, I did. I was like, I don't like it.
You said that. You said, what a shitty gimmick.
Well, you know what? When you just drop fucking 140 every week and you have the best roster compiled in fantasy history, the gimmick works itself out. But yeah, we talked to this team in nauseum. It's ridiculously good. It even got better. Chris finally got that elusive 2-for-1. He unloaded one of those running back ones on his bench and a wide receiver. We'll get into it right after the rankings, but yeah, Chris is a playoff team. He's 7-2. And not to mention too, we'll take a Brian Gold gimmick a little bit here. He's won some sloppy games. What did you beat? Yeah. 85. It's like in the 80s, just a total shit fest. He won against Drew last week. It was like, what was it, a 0.4 differential within the score?
Yeah,
in the
beating by like 0.6. Yeah.
And it's
old school Leatherhead football in the
mud. Even on a shit week, we're escaping. So it's not pretty, and that's why I'm cool with Humphreys being in first because it should be based off what you're doing. And Humphreys is putting up crazy numbers. But after that trade, like, I would probably put myself. It's fine. I'm gonna
and then we'll get into the first team. Humphreys, David Escom, my least favorite gimmick in the league. He stays atop the DPPI mountain. This guy's been in the first spot 3 consecutive weeks. Again, another team we've talked to nauseum about. Jonathan Taylor looks like, I believe he's ranked the number 1 running back in fantasy football now. 2
2
still,
right
but
now.
So he will be one when Henry.
he has been on an absolute tear. Me and Humphreys had the heavyweight matchup of the week. I was clipped on Thursday after Jonathan Taylor dropped 35. Didn't even open the app. But this team, I would say, is probably the favorite. The one thing you could probably say about him, he has no depth. So say hypothetically an injury to a Jonathan Taylor could be in trouble, or an injury to Darrell Henderson, and he doesn't even have the handcuffs. I noticed he didn't pick up Sony Michel, and he has picked up Naheem Hines.
I know someone who picked up Sony Michel.
This guy right above me did. Cheeky bastard.
But yeah, any more thoughts on Humphrey's team? We've been hyping him up for weeks, and he's again number 1 team for 3 consecutive weeks.
No, it's a damn good team. I'm hoping down the stretch I can edge them out for the bye week. I got the head-to-head, so I just got to stay right there with them. So
all right, gentlemen,
yeah, not much to say. I mean, I was the only man that did buy into Jonathan Taylor out of us 3 when we did this last
time. He was a sell on my part. Give me credit.
Just so you remember this, I'm the only one.
I was holding my stock though.
You did hold. I won't lie.
I thought with Big Quentin Nelson out, I didn't know, and now Taylor he looks like Wisconsin Jonathan Taylor. It's absolutely ridiculous. But gentlemen, we'll move into the next segment. We have just kind of a brief summary of there's a few blockbuster trades that went down. The players on this chat tonight were involved. We're going to go into some trades and just the transactions off the waiver wire. We have free agent by bidding, just a brief little synopsis of type of the moves that happened. But we'll get into the first trade that happened a little bit earlier this week. It involved the AD himself, wheeling and dealing. The trade was with the AD, Mr. Christopher Phillips, and Jacob Huney, Dr. Locks. Chris, the trade was you gave up Melvin Gordon. You gave up Mike Williams, one of the Chargers. The Charger gimmick is dead. And in return, you got Stephon Diggs to have the stack with Josh Allen. Chris, let's dig into the mind a little bit. What are the thoughts behind the negotiations? I know you're a tough guy to deal with. What's the thought process?
Well, I mean, we've known for maybe the whole year, at least 5 weeks, that I had to unload a Charger. And to be honest, there was a point where I was not sure if it was Mike Williams or Keenan Allen that needed to be moved, because Mike Williams was ranked number 1. Keenan Allen, who does get a lot of receptions, was not finding the end zone. So I was really worried to have to make that decision. I didn't want to make the wrong choice. And I did try trading both of them at numerous times around the season. But I'm glad I waited and let it play out, because it looks like Keenan Allen will definitely be more so, at least the number 1 target. I know end zone target Mike Williams is probably the better option, but I feel more comfortable with Keenan Allen in my lineup. And Melvin Gordon, I've offered him 75 times over. Every trade imaginable, he's in it. I don't mind him. He gets a lot of hate in this league. He's a viable running back too. I don't care what anyone says. He's ranked the top 15 RB. So I just figured I'd pair them together, get a wide receiver 1 I was very comfortable with. And it just happens I have this quarterback as well. So I'm really glad with how it worked out. And I thought it was fine for CUNY too, given his injuries and players who are in prison and things like that.
I would agree. Yeah. Oh, geez. Oh, a left field there a little bit. Yeah, like I said, I think that's why I had him at 4. I'm not crazy giving up Diggs, but what is Diggs ranked currently?
He's not even ranked that high, to be honest with you.
I think he's like
he is very involved, though. I will say that.
Like I said, he's involved. I would still consider him a wide receiver 1. And then, like I said, with you having Josh Allen and having that stack, I think it's awesome to have. But yeah, Mike Williams, I would agree with if Keeney made this move, say, a couple weeks ago, but Williams has kind of fallen off. Maybe defenses has honed in on him a little bit because Keenan Allen has had an uptick in targets. But yeah, Williams, say receptions and targets. Week 4, he had the big stinker, 4 targets, 1 reception. Then he popped off against Cleveland for 16 targets, 8 receptions, 165 yards, 2 tutties. Since then, he's been borderline not even startable. Against Baltimore, 5 targets, 2 receptions, 27 yards, 3.7 points. Bye week against New England, 5 targets, 19 yards, 2.9 points. Against Philly, 5 targets, 2 receptions, 6.8 points. So I would say that was a perfect, that's not even like a sell high. I think CUNY is just hoping he could potentially turn it around, but man, even like Melvin Gordon is like, whatever, you're like, he's probably the least sexiest running back 2 in the league, but he is kind of consistent. But you 100% won that trade. We can all agree with that. But again, CUNY needed a little bit of depth and it gives him a little more flexibility. But the AD, the rich get richer. You're probably going to win this league after that transaction. You said it yourself. You're worthy of the one spot. You're taking down Hump. But Honor, what are your thoughts about that trade? Who won? Who lost?
Of course, Chris. He texted when I texted in that chat garbage. Chris thought it was a bad trade for him, and I was like, "No, brother, you won. Don't even try to even play that off." I mean, he finally got rid of one of his Charger guys, and I mean, he got rid of the worst one too. So Melvin Gordon, I stand by it. Don't like him. Would he be startable on my team? Absolutely. Still don't like the guy. I think eventually you would hope by now Javonte Williams will take over. Maybe soon. I mean, he did have a great game last week, so could happen soon. But I don't know. Mike Williams, I mean, like you said, those numbers have not been looking nice, Dave Esley, but you still have Justin Herbert, who's still a good gunslinger, and he's a good deep threat, so anything's possible still. Not a bad trade, but not the greatest.
We're going to transition to the trade you made today. Not quite the blockbuster that the AD pulled off, but you managed to trade with the Shug Knights, Mr. Drew Johnson. You traded Mark Ingram for Adrian Peterson. Honor, what did the negotiations, what did the text messages back and forth look like for this blockbuster?
So Drew texted me last week after I got him and said, after he traded for Kamara, he said, "Let me get Mark Ingram." I said, "No way. I need a running back. I just need something with potential for me already." And he was just cussing me out, telling me "F you," all this. I'm like, okay. Yeah, he did. He said all that. So then whatever. So then a week goes by. And of course he has AP now and that McNichols dude. And I didn't think much of it. And then he texts me again today and goes, "Let me get Mark Ingram again." I said, I don't know if I can do it. Especially this week, since I don't know about Nick Chubb and then Mixon's on the bye. So we have JD McKissick playing. And I was like, potentially I might need Mark Ingram to be the other running back. And then he goes, I can, and then I was like, I can't really do it. And then he goes, I can give you AP or McNichols. Then I really thought to myself, I said, AP or McNichols? I said, Mark Ingram is just a backup to Alvin Kamara. AP is the main guy. So I said, and so I was like, you know what? I played hardball a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Let's do the trade. Why not? Maybe it might be good. And then Drew sends it. I instantly accepted without any issues. Instantly accepted it. Texted him. Hopefully Mark Ingram's your guy. Obviously, I hope that doesn't happen. And then hopefully AP becomes Derrick Henry, and then that was it. I'm honestly not mad about it. AP has some upside to him. I mean, he is 38, but a touchdown machine, I hope happens.
Again, dude, he looked pretty good in that Sunday night game when they dominated the Rams. I feel like he has a decent amount of upside, and even I don't even want to call him touchdown dependent because it didn't look like they were running McNichols through the between the tackles at all. And AP is going to be that bruiser back that with that power run scheme, they are going to emphasize more so than a scat back like McNichols. So yeah, I think you definitely won the trade as far as targeting AP over McNichols. And I guess you could kind of view Mark Ingram as a handcuff to Kamara, but Ingram was not like horrible. You could have potentially had him as a flex play. He did get 9 carries for 43 yards, and he also chipped in 5 receptions for 21 yards or 8.9 points. So is what it is. I wouldn't even say it was like a steal, but I would much rather have Adrian Peterson in that Titans offense than
that's what I thought.
Mark Ingram as a backup and I guess like a low end handcuff for Kamara. But Chris, who do you think won that one?
Yeah, you guys kind of covered it all, but I would say I would rather just have Peterson just because at least he's going to get the bulk of the carries. I mean, he is old as dirt. He's not going to get the Henry type looks in any way, but he will get the goal line looks. So I personally do think he is touchdown dependent, but I don't think that's a bad thing by any means. I don't. It makes sense for Drew, to be honest with you, as well. Because of the Kamara thing, I think it was fine for both. I would rather have Peterson. I think I just view it as like Peterson, you could play in a flex if you wanted or had to. Ingram, you probably couldn't. That's just kind of how I viewed it. So
yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, overall, I'd say, yeah, it's not like I don't think it was a highway robbery by any means. So it was like a solid trade, but slight edge to Honor for sure. And then there was another big trade this week between myself and Mr. Brian Gold. Yep, we're in business yet again. The full trade was I traded away Josh Jacobs and Pat Fryermuth, the rookie out of Penn State, the Pittsburgh tight end, for David Montgomery, the Chicago Bears. Gentlemen, I'll give you the floor for the trade evaluation.
I really liked it for you. I mean, I essentially think it's just Josh Jacobs for David Montgomery straight up because he already has Kyle Pitts. So I really don't know why he would need another tight end. Maybe he just wanted reassurance if Kyle Pitts maybe goes down potentially. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Dave Montgomery came back. His first game in over 5 weeks, and he had 13 carries. He had 63 yards. He had, I believe, he had 2 catches. I mean, he didn't look bad for his first game back. Not bad at all. I mean, he's only going to get better now with the bye week, so he's going to get healthier. And then, honest to God, he might do what he did last year for me and just absolutely go off.
But again, yeah, like even against a stout Pittsburgh run defense, and that's a pretty good front seven. Yeah, I was really happy with what I saw Sunday night. But Chris, what is your evaluation on the trade? Who won? Who lost?
I thought it was, I don't know, it was honestly, I just looked at it and I thought it was so odd. Like it just felt random. But I feel like you won the trade because you do have Khalil Herbert in case Montgomery goes down again. So I feel like it just makes more sense for you. To be honest with you, when they both are just playing, I kind of view them as the same. I think they're like anywhere between a top 12 at the highest to 20 running back. I like them both, and I think the trade was fine for both of you, to be honest with you. I don't really view it as a winner or a loser. So
Again,
maybe
too,
he just thinks after, I don't know why. I mean, that guy Fairmouth, whatever, had 2 touchdowns, right? And maybe he views him, knowing Brian, he probably views him as like a trade piece. So
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
so maybe that was his thought, and I don't know. He's kind of a shitter anyway, so whatever.
Again, this was the thought process a little bit. This is what I put on the table initially. I told Brian, hey, do you want Khalil Herbert as a handcuff to Montgomery? And I said, all I want in return is Latavius Murray. And Murray's barely even rosterable, and Herbert doesn't really have standalone value. And he's like, tell you what, I'll give you Montgomery for Josh Jacobs. And I said, okay, okay, we'll dig into this a little bit more. So it went on a little bit, and Brian said initially he wanted Kadarius Toney. And then I said, I don't want to give up Toney. I feel like he has too much upside, blah, 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 a little negotiating. Then he said Freiermuth. And I said, okay, Freiermuth is just some random tight end I just picked up off the waiver wire. Essentially waiver wire garbage, a term we used to love in fantasy basketball. And I threw it to him. I sold him the pitch about all the upside. He's the new Heath Miller with Big Ben. Caught 2 tutties, 3 the last couple weeks. Yeah, so I threw him in there as just a side shitter. I think surface level, I definitely won the trade, but I'd also like to mention Brian is in an absolute must-win week this week, and David Montgomery is on a bye, so he does get Josh Jacobs. I think that was a big part of it too.
That helps a ton. Like you literally, it gets to the point where you have to make trades like that, and whether even if he can openly admit he lost the trade, it doesn't matter. And we know how hard it is to trade in general in this league, so he probably just viewed it as like an easy transaction. Yeah. And to be honest, one that I didn't think he lost really that badly anyway. So I think it just made sense for both of you.
And again, too, I don't know what it is with our league that people love to shit on Josh Jacobs and think he's just a total ass and not like a legitimate. Okay, it might not be like a superstar running back 1, but dude, he has a pretty good consistent floor of like 10 plus points and touches within that Oakland offense. So again, Brian, you didn't get pants like you did on the last trade. Also, this is another little tidbit I'll throw in here. He said that his plan was to trade a wide receiver to Brandon, breaking little circle trust here, Brian. And he said Allen Robinson for Chris Carson could be a potential deal. So Brandon, I would look at your pending transactions.
Here. I got something for you too. I got something for you too then. So he's been texting me and he offered me so when I didn't know you guys made a trade because I got a notification this morning because he sent me a trade from that's why I didn't see your trade. He sent me a trade.
I mentioned something too. I drug him into the deep waters. We're talking 2 a.m. here. Brian was almost delirious at the point before he sent that offer. So
he sent an offer to me as well, and he wanted Joe Mixon originally, and I was like, and it was Joe Mixon and it was Rashard Bateman it was like Kareem Hunt. I forgot who, Deontay Johnson and someone else. And I was thinking, Javonte Williams. And I said, man, it's not terrible. But then I kept on thinking to myself, I said, I think I'd rather have Mixon over Chubb if I would do send that. And so I told him, I said, let's do Chubb instead. And he was like, no way, no shot. And I was
wait. You were going to give him Chubb over Mixon?
I think Mixon's more valuable than Chubb right now.
I'd rather have Chubb.
Weren't you getting Kareem Hunt though?
Wait, no, I would have, but I didn't want both of those two because
it'd be counterintuitive to have both those guys.
I mean, yes, exactly. Because eventually, when you see how Nick Chubb does with Mixon, I mean not Mixon, with Hunt, it's like God damn. It's like because Chris, remember how many times I complained? I said, why is Hunt always at the goal line?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was going to give you Javonte Williams, Deontay Johnson, and
Kareem
Hunt
Hunt.
for
I didn't
Mixon.
want. I
A
did, but I
3-for-1? I don't think we ever heard
No,
one of
no,
those.
no. Rashard Bateman was in it too.
Oh.
I just didn't want two running backs from the same team.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous for you to do. But
I
again,
couldn't do it. I'd rather have my two running back stars and just. I mean, they carried me last week. Why the hell wouldn't I just ride them off with me?
No, you're in a position too. Like I said, I feel like you're a playoff team, and you just got to ride those two horses potentially to another top 3 finish, which I believe you've had 4 out of the past 5 years.
I would have taken the trade.
I do, Chris. What I'm telling you right now, I was this like I'm not kidding when I say he sent it, and I was like just sitting there thinking, accept, yes. And I texted home, and I was like, me, because I knew if I texted you, the one thing I like texting you about trades, but you're sleazeball with it, because then you go, oh, so that means he's trying to trade him off. Let me try to trade for him. So that's why I barely text you nowadays for that. But he has done that, yeah. So I said no way, I'm not going to do it.
Brian,
it's tough. I mean,
but Brian Gold again. I mean, his trade negotiation again. I thought he was this fantasy savant after last year. He pulled off a couple nice deals. He was full transparency. He was the GM of the year.
I thought you brought in. I thought you claimed to bring in 3 heavy hitters: number 12, number 11, and number 7 on the DPPI.
Oh, come on. The Dankster's a great player.
He's on the come up. He's on the come up.
Hey, he's on my prediction. He could win.
Yeah, that was Honor's prediction back, and I believe that was week 2. He said the Danksters was his dark horse champion.
Preseason.
But yeah, and Alex was a perennial playoff team until the Derrick Henry injury, but
he was 3 and 4 already.
No, but I'm saying with the Derrick, and then Kyler Murray's all banged up, and again, he had no depth, but he's cooked anyways at the 12 spot. Yeah, give him the Drew burial. I apologize if anyone's still watching this. How
many teams? No, like don't even have to look at your phone, but like, how many teams would you say are a trade away? Like, not some like miracle trade or not some like crazy shit. Like a legit trade away from being like a championship team, not even a playoff team.
I would definitely say Brandon as one. That's
Brandon 100%.
Brandon, and then I would say possibly maybe the Danksters if he trades like Tyreek Hill, maybe.
Yeah,
because
do you like Honor's team enough as it is for a championship?
Yes, I do definitely. I
didn't disagree with Chris. He told me about Cooper Kupp, and I was like, I really did debate it because I feel like I could get a damn nice trade for Cooper Kupp.
I just feel like you have too many question marks.
I do. That's what I 100% agree. I have 2 rookies pretty much on my wide. I
don't ever want to be in a position where I'm debating between 2 rookies to start in like a big ass league.
Exactly.
And 2 rookies that are, I mean, they're good players, obviously, and they'll be good in their career.
100%.
Fantasy wise, they're just.
I don't know. At the end of the day, Cooper Kupp does give you pretty much two wide receiver players' numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, looking at you could be in a position to say you trade Kupp for. I know you could go to Brandon maybe and just work out a trade if you were interested in Carson or say even possibly Aaron Jones Brandon, or CMC.
I'm not kidding. David, I'll tell you this right now. Out of playing basketball with him and football, I have not made one trade with Brandon ever in my entire life.
He is a tough negotiator, but I can think of probably like 5 transactions off the top of my head that I've ever seen him actually do. And like most of them are with Chris, honestly. I mean, go back to fantasy basketball.
I agree.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, that's going to wrap up week 9. Thank you for listening. Oh, and Chris, thank you for coming on as the executive producer. An honor for what is this, the 3rd time, I believe?
Yeah, 3rd time.
Love to see you, boys. Have a good night, everybody.
All right.